walk like lions. Hey, good afternoon, folks. Chappy coming to you live from Prescott, and it is afternoon. A lot of things were going on at the church here this morning, so a lot of leaf blowers, stuff like that, dump trucks. And I know whenever we hit the play button, something happen. So we decided to go with this afternoon, and it's a beautiful day. As you could tell, we're getting into Thanksgiving week here. We will be doing one of these tomorrow, and I think Thursday or Friday we'll see what happens. But for now, it's great being with you folks. So kind of for today's subject, I put down no compromise there. I'm going to actually take the story from the book of Daniel here for you. And when you were growing up, or when I was growing up, I remember in Sunday school when they would have, it was kind of funny. Sunday school had this like felt board, blue felt board, and the teacher would put the little pieces of paper that signified the story on the felt, and then she'd talk about that particular scene, and then she'd go to the next page and have to move all the little figures around. It was pretty high tech at the time, folk, a blue felt board. But probably some of you probably remember it. If you didn't do Sunday school, you didn't miss much, but you missed the story. But the story is from Daniel 3, and it's the story of the fiery furnace. And really cool story here. Basically, the situation that's going down here is Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, is basically set up in the desert this golden image of himself, because he was getting pretty full of himself and wanted everybody to worship him. Now you got to understand, at the time, Israel had already been taken captive by Babylon and basically scattered to the four corners of the earth. And a lot of the Hebrews lived in Babylon itself, in the capital here with Nebuchadnezzar. The cool thing is they did such a good job as far as just they were dedicated to obviously their faith and their principles, but they were allowed to integrate into the society and work. And a lot of times they would outperform and outwork the Babylonians at the time and the locals. So they would be elevated and promoted into positions of great trust. So there were some three gentlemen here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which were kind of moving up the ladder. You would say they're kind of mid-level management here, in charge of things. And so they kind of find themselves in a situation where the entire officers of the king's court are called forward, and we're talking a lot of people here. And Nebuchadnezzar is basically saying, if you're going to be serving me, you need to bow down to my image. Well, folks, I mean, and what happened is the music started playing, and everybody just gets down and starts bowing down. They fall into line like good workers. I mean, yeah, this is what we need to do. Let's just do it. All except for our heroes, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They they didn't bow down. Now, why did they not bow down? Because they were Hebrews. They followed God. And according to the 10 Commandments, you shall not worship any other God but God alone. So basically they were being asked to do something that they didn't believe in. They didn't feel comfortable with. And it was forbidden by their religion to do. So how this plays out is basically they are noticed. The only 3 people standing as everybody else is bowing down to the image of Nebuchadnezzar. And they're called out. And Nebuchadnezzar calls them up there and says, hey guys, what's the deal here? This is what you are supposed to do. I demand that you bow down to my image. And they're like, no, we can't do that. We can't violate our faith here. There is a law that stands higher than you. And there is an entity, a God, that is higher than you. We are not going to bow. We'll work for you. We'll do a good job, but we're not going to bow. We're not going to go to that level. And it kind of breaks it down here. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to read a little bit from Daniel 3 here. So let's see here. All right. So it's 3 and 6. We'll start with 16 here. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. See, what had happened is basically for not bowing down, basically what was going to happen is the punishment is that he was going to toss whoever didn't bow down into a fiery furnace. I guess that was a thing back then in Babylon. If you did something wrong, you got tossed into a fiery furnace. So here as Nebuchadnezzar's, addressing them and saying, you need to do this, they're saying, no, we're not going to bow down to you. Even though we know that our fate is over there in the fiery furnace, we're not going to do it. And in fact, Nebuchadnezzar, God will be with us, and God will save us from you. So Nebuchadnezzar, when they kind of defy him to his face and stand up for the principles, stand up for God, Nebuchadnezzar actually orders his guys to stoke the furnace 7 times hotter. It was so hot, folks, that a few of the dudes who were tossing coal and wood into the thing actually died. It was so hot. So they bind up the 3 guys and they toss them in. And Nebuchadnezzar's sitting there going like, yeah, we got him, man, we got him. I am better than God here, man. Look at this. They could not stand up against me. Well, lo and behold, here's what happens. Again, in Daniel 3, if you read, Nebuchadnezzar looks in. In fact, all his staff is looking and going, hey, there's an issue here. Those guys are not burning up. And not only are they not burning up, but there's also, we threw 3 guys in, but when you look in there, there's 4. And sure enough, as Nebuchadnezzar looked in the furnace, he saw 4 figures in there. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and one that appeared as the Son of God. And it hit him hard. He realized, whoa, what have I done here? What have I done? These 3 guys, exactly what they said is happening. Their God is delivering them. And actually, pretty cool for a king. He said, get them out of there now. Which again, this thing's stoked pretty high. Get them out. And the account tells that their robes didn't even smell singed. There was nothing. They were untouched. And because of this, Nebuchadnezzar realized, wow, I have made a mistake. The God you serve, the true God, the creator of the universe, has saved you. And he made a decree. He said, basically, all people will bow and worship the one true God of Israel. Which was a pretty cool thing to happen there, folks. So it was actually, these guys were kind of their faith, their strength in their faith, witnessed to the people around them, and people were drawn towards God. And that's what we're called to do ourselves. I want to encourage you today, folks. Things are so crazy out there. Whether in your workplace, whether in your play place, whether just people around you are trying to sway you to kind of go against your beliefs, or just stand firm is what I'm saying. Stand firm on your beliefs. When you are asked to do things that aren't right, stand firm. When you are asked to to, you know, just when something else is brought into your life and you know, becomes more of a value to you, more of a desire to you than the good Lord, that's where we have to be careful. We have to say, no, this thing's taken too much of my life. This is taking place of God in my life, and I cannot allow that to happen, and I won't let that to happen. I will stand for God and not compromise my faith, not compromise my positions on it. So I want to encourage you today that take the example of these guys, because what happened is when they put God first and they didn't compromise their faith, what happened is they were actually promoted by the king to an even higher level and more trust in the kingdom, which was even more of a witness for these guys in this foreign land, working for this foreign king. So we have to understand, when we do, sometimes, and we don't realize it, when we do say, Lord, this is going to hurt, I'm going to get thrown in the furnace for this, but I'm going to stand up for you. God's there with us. First of all, he'll deliver us. Not only will he deliver us, but he'll also kind of work things out for better than what was initially intended for us. So I want to encourage you today. It's kind of a cool story. I wanted to kind of go back a little bit back into the early days of, like, you know, when you would be in Sunday school. And it's so important, folks, to have that element of our lives at the forefront, where our faith is more important and the principles of our faith are more important than what's going on in the world today. Because like I've told you before, the wisdom of the world is just wacky. It really is. And it's nowhere close to the wisdom of following God and truly following what he's called us to do and put into our lives. All right, folks, good talk this afternoon. Be good out there. We will see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be in the morning again. So, hey, I never know. So, don't forget, most important thing here, walk like lions.